So welcome back to Teaching Jobs Korea, and today we have a special guest to share her experience about working and living in South Korea. Please meet teacher Denika Rama. Denika, thank you for taking the time.
Thank you.
It's good to see you after, it's been what, like a year and a half now?
Yeah, maybe almost
Going on your 2 years. So I guess just kind of give a short introduction of yourself and about your background and why you decided to come to Korea.
So I'm Denika. I'm 28 years old. I'm from South Africa, a little city called Durban on the coast. And I came to South Korea in October of 2023. And I've been here since then, living in Seoul. And it's been amazing.
I remember I picked you up at the airport too.
Yeah, you did. I didn't have a blanket. And I was like, oh my God, Kevin, there's no blanket in my apartment. And you came all the way from Incheon and got me a blanket.
Oh yeah, wait. I didn't pick you up at the airport.
Yeah.
I came to drop you off the
blanket. Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I can't let her have her first night be without a blanket. I think it was like in winter too.
Yeah, because October, right? Yeah, winter.
But I'm happy that I got to introduce you to some Korean food at that time.
That's true. You ruined every other food for me because I've literally only been eating samgyeopsal since that day.
I hope you tried other food too.
No, I did.
What first made you want to come out to Korea in the first place?
So I actually found Korea, the teaching opportunities in Korea during COVID, and at the time obviously things were really hectic and
crazy time.
Yeah, and you couldn't just move in and out of the countries with the normal kind of documents. Like now it would be simple, straightforward. You needed a lot more during that time, but I was determined to kind of leave South Africa, and Korea actually caught my eye because of the culture and the food. A lot of people are into K-pop and the K-dramas, and not so much me, but I kind of just like the feel that I got from seeing like how Seoul looks, just the look of it. And then I applied in 2021, and I think because of COVID they were not taking many people. And then at the same time I applied to Thailand, and I got to Thailand, and then that was my first one. And then when I came back to SA, I was like, no, I gotta go to Korea.
I know that COVID time was kind of like very hectic, right? You had to get like the COVID test before you fly out. Then after you arrived, did you have to do quarantine?
Yes. Oh, this was at Thailand. The requirements were crazy, and this was all at your own cost. You had to have medical aid that was recognized globally that covered you for up to like $1 million just for COVID itself. And then you had to pay for your quarantine for like 14 days in a government approved facility, which is like a hotel, but that was really hectic.
What about in Korea? Did you have to? I don't remember you had to do quarantine.
No, not in Korea, because by the time I came here, everything was cleared up.
It was a little bit more, right, relaxed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. You came from Thailand, right? Okay, I remember. That was like a year and a half.
Yeah.
So trying to it's like flashbacks, right? But I guess when you first came into the country, I'm pretty sure you had a certain expectation of what to expect when you came out here, right?
Yeah.
But then you're always coming in with a leap of faith, and then I think there's definitely things that you kind of have to get adjusted to. And I think one of the main things that you have to get adjusted to is just the cultural difference, right?
Yeah.
I guess how was it like adjusting to the cultural differences of what you're used to?
So every time I go back, I have something to compare it to. Obviously not just my culture now. This is like Asian culture, overall. So I don't, obviously as an African person, and then coming to Asia, there's a big cultural difference, but I don't use that as the comparison. I always try to be like, oh, it wasn't like this in Thailand, because kind of Korea and Thailand are both Asian countries, and they there's some connect. So Korea was very different to my experience in Thailand, and very different to my experiences at home. 100% safer. As a girl growing up in South Africa, I'm very concerned about my safety. Yeah. Just always have to be alert. When you're at a cafe, you go out to eat, walking out at night, going out at night with friends, just everywhere, all the time, you have to always be on your game in SA because of just the situation. Coming to Korea, the Korean culture and the way Korean people live and operate in social settings, very different. Nobody bothers you, nobody minds your business. You could leave your phone on a table in a cafe and walk away. I left my passport on a chair in the airport, and I went to the bathroom, and I came back and it was still there. Yeah,
usually when you see a phone on an empty table, that means that person called dibs on that table.
Yeah, so you leave your phone to reserve the table.
Right. That's probably that probably took a long time to kind of get adjusted to, right?
It
just
did.
Kind of just automatic, right? Even leaving my car running sometimes. I'm
yes.
like, yeah, my friends would like from America, they'd be like, why do you do that? It's safe, right?
Yeah.
What about like using chopsticks and stuff like that? Did you learn how to use chopsticks or did you learn it when you came out here?
Chopsticks. I actually learned how to use chopsticks when I was 7.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because my mom started, like, she kind of introduced me to sushi when I was 7, and she was like, you're not going to eat it with a fork. And I was like, okay. So she taught me how to use the chopsticks. However, I don't know why Koreans decided to be different with their chopsticks. Korean chopsticks are flat.
Yeah, the metal ones.
Yes, yeah.
No, I like using the wooden ones because the metal ones are too kind of hard to use. Well, I'm from America too, remember?
But yeah, they are a little, the flat ones are a bit tricky, but I think if you know how to use chopsticks, it's a little more effort, but you get there.
In Durban, I'm sure the pace of life was a little bit more slower than I guess what you're used to, especially coming into Seoul too, right?
Yeah.
You came into like the busiest metropolitan area of Korea, coming from South Africa. I guess how was that shift in pace of life?
Big difference. Durban is also like, so I mentioned it was a coastal city, very relaxed, very chilled vibes, slow pace. You know, everybody's just taking it easy. Seoul, Korea, I think as a whole, it's the pali culture.
Right.
That took a lot of getting used to. Like, you know, things that I would normally just take my time with. You got to get it done and you got to do it fast. And just general things like just getting on the bus, getting off the bus. You got to be fast with it. You know, people are in a rush, people are moving, and the Ajumas, they just like.
I wonder when you go back to Durban, it's gonna drive you crazy because everything's so slow, right?
I promise you, Kevin, the thought of things not being expedited, like they're so efficient here. Just in like immigration, for example, our version of immigration, 5 business days to get one thing. And like in immigration here, you're like, and then done.
Yeah, system is a lot more connected, especially like even medical or anything that has to do with just kind of service-wise, right? Everything's kind of quick.
Service delivery is very, very efficient here. Like even in the hospital, it's like very systematic. You go to this level to get this done, and you go down here. They even have a system for when you go to the hospital as a foreigner to do your health check for your visa. They know exactly what you're there for, and they will tell you this is where you start, this is where you will end up, and you just follow the levels, and it's so efficient.
I'll say it's a lot more technologically modernized in terms of the infrastructure here, right?
Yes, yeah.
Do you know how to use all the apps and stuff?
Yeah, I'm a pro. Kakao Talk, Naver.
Also, your Korean got better too.
Yeah.
How much has that helped? Just kind of understanding the basic language in terms of like navigating. How much has that helped just by learning, I guess, like simple phrases and just understanding a little bit of the language?
Definitely, it's very, very beneficial to know a little bit of Korean just to help you navigate, get where you need to go, try, communicate, because you're not always going to pull out your phone and try and use Papago or, just for example, like in the cab, I learned how to say, here, please, just simple things like that.
Usually you can just show them the phone and say like, right here.
This one, but I'm always like yogi-o.
What about like the money? Did you have some hard time getting used to like the counting of the money? Because like Korean denominations is like
quite big.
Yeah, it's like
they're huge, yeah. But I think the price of denominations of money and the way things are priced makes sense. The only thing I think I struggled with a little bit is, so instead of when you go to like a market or the Shijang, it is market, right? And then instead of saying 30,000, they'll put like 3 and then in Korean. So, and also some places, if the denominations are in the 30s, so like they would put 3.5.
Yeah.
But it's actually 35,000.
Right.
That confused me a little bit at first, but I got used to that.
I still get confused sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, of course. But I guess working as a teacher now, you've been working as a teacher. You've been at the same school ever since you came out here, right?
Yeah.
I think you moved different campuses, but stayed within the same company.
Yeah, I did. So when I got here, I actually got here 2 months early. My contract started on the 1st of December at my campus. So they kind of made me be like a sub teacher. So I would just get a notice from our manager and be like, she was like, you go to this campus today and you can finish at this time. And I would do that. I did that for 2 months. I've been all over kind of Gyeonggi. Like I went to Chunggae, I've been to Yongin, Suji, Gangdong. So a lot of areas because I was subbing.
I think the negative part of that is just doing all that commuting, right?
Yeah.
I think the positive part of that, especially especially when you first came in, was that demand of the workload was a lot less in terms of the actual teaching, which also gave you an opportunity to kind of use that as an extended period of training.
Yes, yes.
And then also I'm sure you got to meet a lot of different teachers from different campuses, right?
That was really fun.
Those are probably the positive aspects of that whole scenario.
Yeah.
But I guess, you're teaching like the elementary to middle, right? The afternoon to evening shift.
Yeah.
Do you think when you first came in, do you think that age group was a good match for you?
100%. Like from the get-go, I was so happy because I'm not a morning person.
Right.
I don't.
I'm not either.
Don't catch me in the AM. Like I'm after 12. So that was perfect for me because I got the mornings to myself, which I really liked. Also, the age group of kids was really good because I struggle a little bit. I know this is not like I think it's a personality thing, just me. But I struggle to simplify English. So if I was teaching like really young learners, I would be like, teacher, why do you put I in a capital letter when you're talking about yourself? I'm like, I don't know. Like you just do. That's what, because like for us native speakers, it's just so, it's ingrained. It's a basic. And then we kind of have to go back and also now learn like, why do you do this? Because the kids actually ask you. And I like that. I like the, the back and forth that I have with middle school kids and with elementary school kids because they have some general understanding of English already, so you can kind of get to know them,
right?
As little humans.
I think a big part of the teaching too is just kind of understanding your kids, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of level of comprehension, number one, and then also their kind of mindset, right? Their psychology of behaviors.
Yeah.
I think you have to kind of take all these things before you apply the content too, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. Because like each one of them have their own personalities, and a lot of the time because they're so focused on learning English in the classroom and you're so focused on getting them to understand what you're teaching them, their kind of creativity gets lost in the process a little bit because now, if you're doing a creative writing with the kids, each one has their own idea, but you kind of got to like mainstream it because of time. Yeah. And, you can't, in a class with 12 kids, you can't be helping each individual one write personalized essay. So I think in that sense, like I try my best as a teacher to get them to show their creativity or what they think about something. And it's been really fun getting to know them. They're actually amazing, my kids.
But I think if you had to, like, comparing it to like a public school sector classroom and a Hagwon classroom, I would say there's a lot more, it's a higher percentage of having a more productive class with the Hagwon because of the fact that it's just a smaller amount of students. And you can it's a lot more easier to find a balance in the classroom.
Yeah. With the Hagwon classes, it's usually, I think the maximum is usually 12, but there's never actually always 12 in every class. So the ones that have a little less students, you can kind of connect with them on a very nice level. And you get to give them that sort of personalized attention that you would want to as a teacher.
I guess when you first came into the workplace, what was like the hardest thing to adjust to in the work culture aspect of it?
I think the hardest thing for me was time management because I would want to make sure that what I was teaching was being understood. And in the Hagwon, as much as it's an educational environment, but they also a private business, so you got to get what they want done in the time allocated. So sometimes it's not about whether the kids understand. You just got to, like, my pages need to be finished by the time the bell rings.
Right.
That kind of thing. This must be covered in the lesson before the end of the week. So it was a bit hard navigating that as well. Other than that, I think I adjusted pretty fast.
What about like communication with like management and I guess getting along with your other teachers?
Communication was a bit of an issue for me because our management, so we have our Wanjangnim and Timjang, and their English is not perfect, yeah. So I think, and then obviously Korea has a certain order that you have to go in if you have any questions or if you want to address anything. You can't just go straight to your director. You have to go to your head teacher or your timjang, and they have to take that message to your director. And sometimes because of the communication, the wrong message would be conveyed and then there would be a few misunderstandings. So for me, that was the biggest issue, which kind of like made me want to just go directly to my manager and be like, this is my issue, but you can't do that.
I think a part of that too is you have to have a certain understanding of the culture too, right? Because there's certain ways that in Korean style, they're very direct to the point. Western culture, you're kind of going around, right? A little bit more polite.
Right, yeah.
I think once you kind of understand that they're not like being rude to you, it's just how, they're accustomed to, then it kind of makes it a little bit more better to kind of at least evaluate it without like feeling offended.
Yeah, no, for sure.
What about like making friends? I'm pretty sure you've been here for now. You're a very outgoing person, so I'm sure you made a lot of friends, right?
Yeah, I did. It's been a very nice experience. I made a lot of friends from all over the world. A lot of South Africans, but also, friends from other countries and Korean friends too. My coworkers actually are some of my closest friends.
I guess for someone that's coming out and, just wanting to see how they can make friends, what would be some ways that they can kind of make the effort to find people to kind of hang out with and interact with?
So I think everyone is different, right? Like some people are more introverted. They even if they are extroverted, not everybody wants to kind of.
What about for you?
I'm very straightforward. Like I will see a foreigner on the bus and I'm like, hey, where you from? That's my opening line. I'm like, hey, where you from?
Right.
Like I made a friend, two of my closest friends actually. So one, I was on my way to work. So I just hopped in the lift and I saw her. She's American and I saw her in the lift and I was like, oh my God, a brown person. Hi. I was like, where are you from? And she's like, oh, I'm from the States. And like literally I'm on the 6th floor. By the time we got to the 1st floor, we had exchanged contacts and we have been friends ever since then. And then my second friend, we had an emergency fire drill in our apartment and I saw her walking down the stairs. And I was like, hi. Because like, there was the only other foreigner in my building. And I was like, hi. And it turns out we actually have so much in common and she's from New Zealand. Yeah, so we've been friends ever since. So I just think if you're serious about making friends, like they will find you. Your friends will also find you. If you're not an outgoing person or a person that likes to approach others, they will find you. But the best thing that I can say about finding friends in Korea is just say hi. Have an opening line.
Where do you like to hang out with your friends? Where's like the place to go? Where's like the Tanggol place that you go to?
Oh no.
Hongdae?
Yeah.
Because you live on the west side, right?
Yeah.
Hongdae's nice. There's Yeonidong over there too, right? Kind of like that park area.
Yeonnam. Yeah. It's Yeonnam, right? The one on the top, is it? Yeah, the way there's like a park and cafes, lots of restaurants, everything.
It's kind of trendy.
Yes, very, and it's like all below road level, kind of like hidden.
It's a little bit more newer than like the actual Hongdae,
right,
area.
Yeah.
A lot of young kids over there too.
And there's always like they have busking. Is it busking? Yeah, like somebody, they have like a little setup and then people will come with their instruments or they'll just sing and it's actually really nice and people walk their dogs there. There's a little fountain. It's so nice.
What about like interacting with Korean people, especially with being someone of color, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of stereotype and there's a lot of mixed, statements about it. I guess what was your kind of like your take on it after being here for X amount of years?
With the kids or with
just normal people that you meet on the streets? And
no, I haven't had any bad experiences and I am, I'm so grateful for that because I know that a lot of people have had, not so great experiences being people of color, especially in Korea. But for me personally, I have not had any issues with being a person of color, not in this country.
But I think you're also very open-minded too. You try to understand like your environment first and kind of understand, that's why you kind of learn Korean, right?
Yeah.
I think as long as you kind of try to understand the culture first,
yes,
then it helps you better understand, like, because you can't expect Koreans to accept your American culture in the way that you speak to them, right? And not expect the same vice versa, right?
Yeah.
So I think that part of it is just a matter of adjustment.
No, for sure, yeah. So I always say this, and like, obviously there's a community of people that have spoken about their experiences in Korea and stuff that they were not happy with. And I'm always saying, like, if you're coming to Korea, you need to understand that you are entering a whole other country with their customs, culturally as well. You need to come here with an open mind. Like, you can't expect, if you get 10 days of sick leave in your country per year, you can't come here expecting the same thing because it's been mapped out for you. You know what you're getting into. You know what I mean? So I was like, you gotta adjust. This is not your country. You can't come and impose your country's things on, the Korean people.
Yeah, that's why I think just an open mind goes a long way.
It does,
right?
Yeah.
And definitely, I guess, like, what about food? How's the Korean food been to you?
Amazing. I love Korean.
What's your favorite dish?
I'm gonna get a lot of.
When you go back to South Africa, what is the dish that you will miss the most?
I have like 3.
Okay. What's the 3?
It's samgyeopsal.
Okay, samgyeopsal.
된장찌개.
된장찌개. Okay, that's a good one.
And any kind of chon.
Pancake. You can make chon probably when you go back.
I heard it's really easy to make.
It's really easy.
But I've never tried. So
YouTube it.
Really?
Yeah.
I really need to learn how to make 된장찌개 because kimchi jjigae is easy. Like,
but the 된장찌개, you have to buy the 된장.
Yeah, the soybean paste.
I don't know how easy that'll be accessible in South.
They have Asian markets.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
But all Asian markets doesn't mean that it's Korean.
It's a Korean market. It's
Okay.
called Kokoro.
Oh, then they should
Yeah.
probably have it there.
Yeah, and they just opened one in the little city that I live in Durban.
I'm sure when you YouTube it, there's someone that's going to be teaching you how to make.
Exactly,
Yeah, it's not. It's really not that hard either.
Really?
It's really easy. Oh man, now you put me on the spot. I mean, definitely, I like meat, barbecue meat.
Yeah.
But I also like tteokguk.
The rice.
Yeah, rice cake.
Rice
you know
cake?
that the thing that you eat
Yeah.
like every New Year's.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite dishes.
Oh, nice.
I don't really like spicy though.
Really?
I can't really eat spicy.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
No,
I can eat it, but the next day I kind of regret it.
Yeah, yeah, I feel you.
What about like traveling? Have you done a lot of traveling here?
I wouldn't say a lot. Like there's a lot more that I could have covered in Korea. I really wanted to, but obviously, like with the circumstances, I didn't take into account the time, and I actually regret not traveling more. But I have been to a few places. I'm going to Yosu this weekend.
How are you gonna get there? You gonna take the KTX or bus?
I'm taking the KTX.
Are you going with friends or solo?
The friend that I met in my building, in New Zealand. Yeah, we're going together. I've been to Chuncheon, been to Busan, I've been to Jeju.
You pretty much covered everything.
I still really want to go. So I've asked all my friends what's their top 3, and they've all mentioned Gyeongju.
Gyeongju?
Yeah.
I haven't even been to Gyeongju and I've been here for 20 years. What's in Gyeongju?
I don't know. They said that it's just a really old
Ah,
city.
like traditional.
Yeah, it's like a walking museum in Gyeongju.
Do you like learning about the history?
I love it. Like when I went to Chuncheon, there was a whole museum dedicated to this Korean journalist, and how they showed you the story of his life through pictures, and we just translated every picture, and it was so interesting to see. He got sick, he would smoke. They would make the young kids smoke so that they wouldn't get, I can't remember.
You know more about Korean history than I do. I'm gonna look it up, okay? I don't know
Yeah.
why he would make kids smoke, but
Yeah, I think to something about TB.
a tuberculosis?
Yeah, I need to go and check that story out. We both need to go and check that story out. Yeah.
But I guess learning about the Korean history too,
Yeah.
you kind of realize that Korea has a very sad history
does.
too.
Yeah, when the Japanese, had.
But even before that too, it's just, yeah, we have a lot of...
I was really fascinated with Korea during the Joseon time. That really interested me a lot, and I learned a lot about from my kids actually. That's why I was saying I love teaching them, because they actually taught me about like Lee Sun-shin.
Lee Sun-shin.
Yeah. And I didn't know King Sejong, like all the things that he did. I knew King Sejong, but I didn't know that like he invented Hangul, he invented the sun clock and water clock.
You know how I learned about Korean history?
How?
Watching Korean history dramas.
Oh no.
Take away all the fictional part,
That's
but
such a
then
cliche.
but you kind of know about the character and the main points of it, so that's how I learned.
You have to give me some recommendations.
What is like the main personal growth you have gotten through your experience working in Korea?
I think for me personally, time management. And before I came to Korea, just generally, my personality, I'm not the kind of person who likes to do things alone, very codependent. But after coming to Korea, I've had time to reflect. I've had time to be by myself in my own space, and where I was responsible for it, like, whatever I did. And I would have to organize myself in a way, like create a routine that worked so that I could get everything done. And I think that's the most valuable thing that I will take back with me when I go back home, because it taught me how to be on my own and be okay with being on my own, which is a very important thing for me.
And also discovering a new version of yourself.
Yeah, no, really. And also learning the language. Like, I mean, I can't speak it. Like, I can't have a whole conversation. But I know something about Korean language now that I can take back with me and be like, oh, well, this is what you call this in Korean.
And when you watch K-dramas, you'll understand it
Yes,
more.
without subtitles.
And you'll know that it's all fake in the K-dramas, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's true. A lot of people come to Korea and they expect the K-drama, and it's not like that. But it's yeah.
All right, Denika, well, thank you for taking the time. It was really a pleasure to see you again and talk to you and just have this conversation. And hope today's video was fun, and please make sure to subscribe and like, and we'll be back with more.
Thank you.